Welcome to another Live, Love, and Leave a Legacy podcast. I am your host, Jerry Morales. Bam, there we go. Unbelievable, man. Episode number 13 with an emphasis on Mother's Day. So happy early Mother's Day to all you amazing moms out there who hold it down day in and day out. And I can't help but think about my mama, mi querida madre. Socorro Morales, right there in Castroville, yellow house on the corner. Been there for, man, almost 50 years, man, that house. It's crazy. 47, 48 years to be exact. And I'm glad that you're here and that we're here together to be able to share some time again, and I got a word for you today. And the question I have for you is, life is hard. So what do we do? What do you do when life gets hard? What do you do when things just get real difficult? And she's like, no matter where you turn, things just seem to fall apart. Things just don't seem to go your way or how you expected things to turn out. Didn't turn out the way you wanted. And what do you do? Where do you go? How do you respond? How do you react? Well, of course, we all have our own way of responding to stuff like that. Some handle it well and some don't. And there's this word that comes to mind, resilient. And resilient people or something resilient is something that's tough, something that can handle change, something that can handle, tough times, something that can handle difficulty, right? People like to buy cars these days that are resilient. You want to buy stuff that's going to last. These days they don't make stuff to last. They purposely make stuff cheap, man, so it looks good for a little while, and then you got to buy it all over again real soon before you know it. But I really believe that there's a certain character, and I want to say in most moms that I just think they're born with this resilient character inside of them that when they become mothers, I mean, it's just amplified, like boom, when this baby's born, boom, like this resiliency just comes out of them. And that way they're able to handle the full blown task of not just, having to carry a child in the womb and all that comes with it, that I have no idea. And I am so grateful that God, did not give us that task, and I'm sure most of the fellows out there can agree. But, it is a blessing. And I do, that's why women are different. They're made different and I just want to honor all the moms that are watching right now and say thank you for being so resilient. Thank you for having the love to carry us. I'll just talk to my mom, gracias, for carrying me those 9 months and, nurturing me, taking care of yourself, knowing that I was in your womb. And then not just that, but when that day came to be born, to make that difficult decision, to have that C-section, with the complications and stuff. And then, all the, the aftermath of that, having a C-section. Back then, it's not like today. They got the bikini cut now, they call it, for C-sections. Back then, it was that long cut right down the middle of the womb. They could pull me out. But then that's just the beginning. It's the love and the resiliency that mothers show day in and day out while they help the family face whatever comes, right? And I got to focus a lot on my mom because she is literally the most resilient person I have ever met and known on the face of this planet in my lifetime. I mean, if you guys know my mom, you know my mom. Socorro is this amazing individual that a lot of people look up to, and a lot of people have been inspired by her story. And matter of fact, let me just get into it. My mom was raised out there in Zacatecas, Taltenango, Atolinga, Laguna Grande. That's the ranch she comes from, Laguna Grande. And, her parents, Papa Pepe, Mama Pancha, out there in Laguna Grande, raised out the ranch, man. Like, well, we go visit every year in Christmas time. We go get water from a water hole. You want to take a shower, take a bath. I'm not even take a shower, take a bath. You got to warm up the water on the stove. Everything over there, you talk about organic. I mean, that's like, you can't get any closer to that, man. I mean, everything was fresh and homemade over there. I mean, we feed the cows, the pigs, the chickens. I mean, all that. I mean, you were literally having fun with dinner sometimes. Running, chasing chickens and making pigs mad, and having fun taking cows from one potrero to another. But I can only imagine, that's part of why my mom was so resilient. There's nothing you can take for granted out there. Everything you gotta grow, you gotta work, you gotta make, you gotta build, you gotta everything, right? And I look at my mom from my earliest memories that I have of her. And, probably one of the deepest, most sentimental memory I have of my mom. If I get a little emotional, you gotta understand, I got a lot of love from my mom. I remember one night I was about maybe 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, little guy. And I catch my mom crying in the evening, and she's in this dark room that we had on the side over there. And I go, Ma, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Por qué estás llorando? Mom, why are you crying? And her response is something that I can still hear her voice now when she would tell me, no, no estoy bien, mijo, me estoy desahogando. She said, I'm fine, I'm just letting it out. What my mom was doing is she was spending time with the Lord. She was just letting it all out. I mean, my dad was an alcoholic and he wasn't the easiest guy to hang out with, to be married to be honest. I love my dad, but his alcoholism made things difficult, as any alcoholic does. Just you're dealing with someone that's possessed by alcohol. They're not always the nicest people. He's just people to work with. He made things real hard. And, I'll never forget my mom's response that night. It's something that I've had to do myself over time, where I sit there and I weep before the Lord and I let stuff out. Because I remember my mom saying, estoy desahogando. In other words, she was letting it out. And I think that's really important for you and for me. It's a life lesson that my mom modeled for me. When she showed that she wasn't holding things in, and she was willing to let things out and really to have faith in a God that she couldn't see, faith in a God that she couldn't hear audibly, but she knew was there. And it's that faith that gave her the strength to know that God would give her the strength. I would hear the stories, man. My mom and dad they were broke when they got married. They would have to push start the car. And because my mom didn't know how to do stick, she would have to be the one to push the car while my dad jumped the clutch, popped the clutch. Talk about that they would pull over and then they would grab whatever was left over on the fields. And my mom would make my dad tacos there, whatever vegetables she would fry or cook, cook for him. Living in the car. I mean, all that stuff that comes with the beginning, right? Of coming out of one life, in one stage of life to the other, my mom, after she got married with my dad. But, my mom I don't remember my mom complaining a lot. I remember my mom just being grateful and just being a hustler. I mean, my mom worked. She's a grinder. I mean, I remember she had 2 jobs. I remember we were selling stuff to neighbors. I mean, my mom, she taught me how to be a salesman because she would send me door to door selling stuff, to make ends meet. My mom was gritty, she was very resilient and it's like no matter how hard it got with my dad, and even when my dad got, the house got raided and my dad, we were going through that, whatever they were going through with the courts and law and all that stuff, and visiting my dad in jail and all the drama that comes with that, right? That's not easy. And in that time, my mom was pregnant with my youngest brother. But to see my mom not no matter what, like not give up, not find herself just sitting there doing nothing, but instead being mobile, being active, and making sure the house was always clean. We always had food on the table, making sure that no matter what, the mortgage was paid, and no matter what sacrifice had to be made, my mom made it, and she made it with like this drive that it didn't bother her. She did what she had to do, no matter what, for her family. And that model has always stuck with me because I feel like I do that. I do what she did with my family. I don't care what I got to do. Whatever we got to do, let's just move forward. But I get that from my mom. No matter what we face, no matter what we go through, we don't stop. No, we go through it. We just go for it. We don't stop. We don't get stuck. Moms, you're so important. And I'm so grateful for all of you that you get up every day and you grind and you go for it. I mean, I've been an administrator at schools. I've been a teacher at schools, elementary schools. And now my hat's off to all the single moms out there that are holding it down, I had a lot of respect for the moms at my school because, they're amazing. I mean, you are amazing. If you're watching this and you're a mom, you are amazing. I mean, they would, could not just drop off the kids, go to work, come back, pick them up, go make dinner. I mean, I had some hardcore amazing moms and wives too. You know what I mean? And it's amazing when someone is determined to rock the role that's been given to them. Whether you're a father, a mother, a son, a brother, whatever it may look like, when you're determined to just go for it, it makes you unstoppable. My mom has been unstoppable literally all her life. And no matter what life is thrown at her, no matter what obstacles she's had to overcome, my mom don't jump through it. She just goes through it. I mean, my mom came to this country with the first grade education, and I went to the school that she went to in El Rancho, Laguna Grande. Tell you something. You weren't always guaranteed a teacher to show up, man. Half the time we find ourselves playing soccer out there, or because the teacher wouldn't show up because they had to travel from Tlaltenango, from Atolinga, whatever. And I remember the day my mom says, "Mijo, voy a aprender inglés. Mom, I'm gonna learn English." And we all, I mean, and forgive me, I know some of you know me, and you would never think that I'd laugh at my mom, but we laughed at my mom. We would, and she said, no. So she started going to adult school and started taking classes in English. She would come home, and while after she made dinner, she'd sit down and she would practice her English. And we make fun of her. We would like say fork, and she would say fart. I mean, and we would sit there and laugh and make fun of her. And she's all, "No, you watch. I'm gonna do this." And sure enough, man, my mom, not only did she go to adult ed, but she got her GED. And then my mom didn't stop there. She didn't just get her GED. What does she do? She goes to Hartnell College there in Salinas. And my mom's like, she's going out, take it. My mom's going to Hartnell, and the house is clean. There's always homemade meals. And she's still dealing with my dad. Even though he wasn't as bad, he was a handful. And I mean, nothing was ever neglected. I don't know where my mom found the strength, where she found the energy, but she got better grades than all my brothers and me. I mean, she did really good. And I remember the day she graduated from Hartnell, there was a celebration. And I mean, I'm like there watching, man. But you would think, like, okay, cool, I graduated with AA from Hartnell, but what did my mom do? No, she applied to CSUMB, Cal State University, Monterey Bay. And what did my mom do? She goes to CSUMB. And she goes for her bachelor's. And then that day comes where we're going to go to my mom's graduation from CSU Monterey Bay. She's an OG. She's an honor grad. And we're like blown away. And we hear the stories of my mom and how she would study with these youngsters at Hartnell and at CSUMB, and she would meet up with them and have study groups, and they would give my mom rides on their bikes. And I can just imagine my mom on the back of a bike or on the top of a cruiser, running through school with some youngsters. And it was amazing how they would take care of my mom and she would take care of them. My mom always made food, and she's always packing, and and it's just such a beautiful thing. And, you know, my mom just blew us away. Okay. So she gets her GED, goes to art now, graduates from there, graduates from CSUMB. You would think, wow, that's amazing. Like, way to go, Socorro. She didn't stop there. She got accepted to do her master's at San Jose State. And, she started it. And unfortunately, my dad got real sick. And my mom was always modeled, having her priorities right. And instead of trying to force it, she made the right decision. And all my brothers and I really are grateful that my mom just stepped back and left that dream or that part of her going to get a master's to take care of my dad full time, and which it was a full time job. My dad had diabetes real bad, ended up on having to get dialysis 3 times a week, and I tell you what, my mom was resilient not just for her life but for my father. I mean, he had to do dialysis 3 times a week, and my mom would take care of him. I remember my mom told me a story that she noticed that my dad would wear a beanie and be in sweats and a sweat jacket, go and lay there. And my mom said it's like my dad would show up to dialysis looking like a bum, And she's like, she noticed and she started looking around and she started seeing everybody like the atmosphere in that place. And she's like, man, my husband's he's gonna die here. This is like depressing here. So what did my mom do? She makes my dad get ready, like to go to Dallas. And my dad shows up in slacks, a suit jacket, looking fly, man. Like my dad rolled in there like a G. My dad would walk in there smiling, and like all happy, and like with a different mentality. Why? Because my mom made sure he dressed like you're gonna go out, man. You're not going down. You're going out. You're going up. My dad survived 12 years on dialysis because of my mom's resiliency. and how she shared it with him. And I'm forever grateful for that we got to enjoy my dad for another 12 years because of her intentionality and how she loved him and how she served him no matter what. I mean, my mom demonstrated and modeled for me what real love looks like in a marriage. Unconditional love. That no matter how many times people told my mom to give up on my dad, she never did. She honored the vow that she made to him when they got married, and it's model. It's a model that I've taken into my marriage, and it's amazing when you watch somebody day in and day out, and have to go through the hard times and still smile and still be an encourager and still be willing to go out and encourage other people, not just encourage, inspire. I mean, everybody knows my mom. Why? Because everywhere she goes, she smiles. Everywhere she goes, she has something nice to do. Everywhere she goes, she's willing to help and be a servant. And I love you for that, Mom, because it's what sets me apart too from a lot of people. Is you taught me to serve. You taught me to love and be resilient in life. Because I know that when I've had to face the difficult times in my life, I look back at your exampleship, and this is why I don't give up, and I have never given up. And even when I wanted to throw in the towel, I couldn't, because all I had to do was look at you and think about everything you went through raising your four boys. And I mean, a lot of people don't know, but my mom had two boys. I had two other brothers that my mom went full term with, 9 months of pregnancy. And, Nativity, I don't have a good reputation back then. And, my mom went to the hospital and both of my older brothers passed away at birth. I mean, there's stories, my mom says one that the nurse closed my mom's legs. She was the doctor, they weren't ready. The doctor wasn't there. The other one, my other brother, he choked on the umbilical. I mean, there's all kinds of drama. My mom didn't know English then. And my dad is, when you're an alcoholic or you're not, you don't know how to be there all the time. And I don't know what I would have done. I mean, even as a father, to lose my first two sons at birth, you go through all 9 months of that excitement, of that thrill, that you're gonna have a baby, and and then only to have that taken from you at birth, when you're at the hospital and you're there to expect and bring this child into a world that you've been expecting for 9 months, only to not be able to experience that, not once, but twice, And so I don't know how she did it. And I know my mom was alone too. She felt lonely. Her family wasn't around, and my dad's family, I mean, I don't know. I mean, she felt lonely. And yet somehow, some way, my mom got up every day and went for it. My mom got up every day and didn't mind working in the fields and the empaques, whatever she had to do to make sure that her family progresses and moves forwards. When I think about my mom, I think of Proverbs 31. And I'm going to read it to you. It says this, it reminds us of how powerful a virtuous woman is. And my mom was a virtuous woman. My mom was everything that scripture ever exemplified. My mom was that Proverbs 31 woman. And I'm honored to be able to say that I know a Proverbs 31. I was raised by one, and if you have a Proverbs 31 mom, man, take care of her. Be grateful for her, because man, what a blessing it is, to have a mom like that. And it says this in Proverbs 31. This is Solomon said, the saying of King Lemuel, an inspired utterance to his mother taught him. Okay, not Solomon, but listen, my son. Listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son. The answer to my prayers. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, not for rulers, all that stuff, right? But here's where it describes a woman of noble character. Verse 10. A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. In her hand, she holds the distaff and grasps the spindle with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She makes coverings for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate. where he takes a seat among the elders. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days that come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. That's right, Mama. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. That's my mom. That's my mom. Te quiero mucho, mamá. Gracias por todo lo que has hecho por nosotros. Thank you, man. If you got a real one, honor her, your mom. Be a blessing to her. Celebrate her. Give her as many opportunities to laugh and smile over everything she's done so that you and I can have a better life. And so I'm grateful for every mom watching. If you're a son or a daughter, honor your mother. The Bible even says, man, honor your mother and your father, you will have a long life. It's a commandment, that we have to honor them. And so I'm so thankful for, episode 13 dedicated to moms out there, but more importantly, dedicated to mine. Actually, next week, I'm going to try to do a podcast with my mom live. So y'all can meet her. And some of you know her and you're going to laugh with me and stuff. I'm going to see if I can work that out. But meanwhile, be blessed and have an amazing Mother's Day weekend with your mom, your grandmother. If your mom's not here no more, then guess what? She's looking down from heaven and she's cheering you on, like Alma is for my babies, for Aleli, Angel, and Nana. I know she's looking down and she's cheering them on, that they continue to fight this good fight of faith. So I love you, Mom. And to all you mothers out there, may the Lord bless you, the Lord keep you, and Lord shine his face upon you. So be blessed, be brave, be bold. And until the next episode, be blessed. I love you. God bless you. See you next time right here.